Today is the penultimate day for the election campaign for Madhya Pradesh, and the Prime Minister gave a massive push to the BJP's outreach by holding a roadshow across Indore. This roadshow travelled across 3 constituencies and 11 kilometres over a span of about 40 to 45 minutes, but its overall messaging and significance was not lost on anyone. The focus was on all of Madhya Pradesh. For one, the PM's push on the second last day of campaigning was kept in the Malwa-Nimad region, which contributes the single largest chunk of 66 seats to the Madhya Pradesh Assembly. It's also a region where the Congress performed strongly in 2018, getting 34 seats. Just about half of the seats went to the Congress. The BJP now needs to not just make big gains in this region if it wants to return to power, but also ensure that statewide they counter the Congress's concerted offensive of 5 guarantees, allegations of corruption and anti-incumbency that they have levelled against the BJP. Now remember, opinion polls have shown the Congress in the lead in Madhya Pradesh. But today, the Prime Minister not only hit out at the Congress, took them on for threatening the voters, the bureaucracy and the police, and also their internal kapda phar politics, but sent out a message. The real pulse of MP is very, very different from what the surveys and the poll pundits are conveying.
कांग्रेस जहां भी सत्ता में है, वहां उसका एक ही एजेंडा है, लूट, 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 भ्रष्टाचार, 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 जनता पर अत्याचार, अत्याचार, अत्याचार और बार बार झूठ, जहां जाओ वहां झूठ, चिल्ला चिल्ला करके झूठ, यही उनका तरीका है। कांग्रेस के पास आपको देने के लिए सिर्फ और सिर्फ विरोध है, निराशा है, नकारात्मकता है। कांग्रेस स्वभाव से ही तुष्टीकरण, गुंडागर्दी, दंगे फसाद, भ्रष्टाचार इनको प्रोत्साहित करती है। कांग्रेस के न तो संगठन में दम है और न ही नीयत है। आप राजस्थान में देखिए, छत्तीसगढ़ में देखिए, वहां कानून व्यवस्था की, भ्रष्टाचार की क्या स्थिति है। अब वो डरने लगे कहीं लॉकर न खुल जाए। उनको चिंता है कि मोदी को लॉकर का पता कैसे चल रहा है। लॉकर खुल रहे हैं और नोटों को ढेर निकल रहे हैं, सोना निकल रहा है, सोना। मध्य प्रदेश के इस बार के चुनाव एक नया रिकॉर्ड बनाने जा रहे हैं। मैं बीते कई दिनों से एमपी के अलग अलग हिस्सों में लोगों से मिला हूं, आशीर्वाद प्राप्त किए हैं। जो विश्वास, जो भरोसा भाजपा पर दिख रहा है, वो अद्भुत है। दिल्ली में बैठकर चुनावों का हिसाब किताब लगाने वाले पॉलिटिकल मेहरबान इसका आकलन नहीं कर पाए। ये बीजेपी की ऐसी आंधी चली है कि कांग्रेस का तंबू उखड़ जाएगा।
Now, most surveys show that anti-incumbency is a strong disadvantage for the BJP. That is the reason why the party has focused solely on the Prime Minister as the only face for these elections. In fact, at the beginning of the BJP's campaign, the Prime Minister penned a letter to the state's voters with the catchline, MP ke man mein Modi. They've also tried to shift the focus on the Congress's infighting and the alleged corruption to make a point about how the Congress's return would take the state back in time to when it was part of that infamous Bimaru combination. But this time, the Congress is also intent. They will not let a 2018 result be repeated with the possibility that the BJP breaks the party away. They want to replicate the Karnataka model, this time in Madhya Pradesh.
हमारा भ्रष्टाचार प्रदेश बन गया, हमारा घोटालों का प्रदेश बन गया। कहां घोटाला नहीं हुआ? 250 घोटाले पिछले कुछ महीनों में सामने आए हैं। और आज मध्य प्रदेश में कोई निवेश लगाने को तैयार नहीं।
पहले की सरकार हम जो बनाए थे उसको मोदी साहब ने, चौहान ने, शाह ने मिलकर चोरी कर ली और वो चोरी करके नई सरकार बना ली। हमारे एमएलए को खरीद फरोख्त करके और उनकी सरकार आज है।
मैं 100% कह सकता हूं कि यहां पे कांग्रेस पार्टी का तूफान आने जा रहा है। आप लिख के रख लो, मध्य प्रदेश की जनता कांग्रेस पार्टी को 145 से 150 सीट तक देने जा रही है।
Rahul Gandhi predicts 150 seats out of 230. The Prime Minister says there is a clear undercurrent in favor of the BJP. But can the Prime Minister's blitz now swing Madhya Pradesh decisively for his party, or is anti-incumbency going to remain their biggest headache? Let's take this across. The guest joining us now, Tuhin Sinha, national spokesperson of the BJP, Tushar Gupta, senior editor at Swaraj, Kapi Srivastava, spokesperson of Samajwadi Party. Also with us is senior journalist Ashutosh. But my first question is to Kamru Choudhury, leader of political analysts. I want to play out for you actually what the Prime Minister said today in Madhya Pradesh. Kamru Choudhury didn't take any names, but apparently reacted to somebody as Murkhon ka Sardar. Let's listen into what the PM said and then I'll take your reaction.
महाज्ञानी कांग्रेस के कह रहे थे कि आप सबके पास मेड इन चाइना मोबाइल फोन होता है। अरे मूर्खों के सरदार, किस दुनिया में रहते हैं ये लोग? कांग्रेस के नेताओं को अपने देश की उपलब्धियां न देखने की मानसिक बीमारी हो गई है। सच्चाई क्या है? आज भारत दुनिया में मोबाइल फोन का दूसरा सबसे बड़ा निर्माता है।
Kamru Choudhury, the tallest leader, the Prime Minister says he's Murkhon ka Sardar, or the king of dunces, if you will.
So, you know, the fear is so palpable out here that Narendra Modi ji, the Prime Minister of India, had finally had to come down to a wonderful road show in Madhya Pradesh to garner some lost ground for the BJP. You know, we don't believe in this man anymore. The wave that Modi created in 2019 had finally waned. You know, in Karnataka election or Himachal election, we have seen how Modi wave did not work for the BJP, and it is not going to work for BJP this time also in 2023 assembly elections. There are certain reasons for this. You know, when he calls our leader Murkhon ka Sardar, let me just point to one small example. On the ramparts of the Red Fort, he said that he is going to wage a war against Parivarwad, he is going to wage a war against corruption, he is going to wage a war against Tushtikaran. But all three of these, he has remained silent on. Narendra Singh Tomar's massive expose of corruption that happened 2 days ago, and today also. You have got Yadurappa's son, a Parivarwad, getting appointed as the BJP's chief in Karnataka. Then you have got the 22 lakh diyas being led by the government of Uttar Pradesh in Ayodhya just to appease the Hindus.
From talk of Vikas, it's come down to name calling. This is a sign of fear and insecurity. Tuhin Sinha.
Good evening, Padmaja. Good evening, everybody. You know, Rahul Gandhi's overt China infatuation has been a cause of embarrassment for the entire country. Now, 98% of the phones we use in the country today are assembled in the country. I'm using the word assembled because right now they are assembled, but with the semiconductor push which is currently underway, in the years to come, probably, you know, that will be the percentage of manufactured phones in the country. But Rahul Gandhi, being in a time warp, can't help heaping praises upon China. You know, on 10th of September, rather 9th of September, when India was scripting the historic India-Middle East European corridor, what was Rahul Gandhi doing? He was in Brussels endorsing China's BRI, which impinges upon India's sovereignty. So this China obsession is something which is a cause of anguish for BJP supporters because, somehow it fundamentally undermines the achievement of the country. And even though Prime Minister Modi usually does not use the, such words for Rahul Gandhi, this time I think, he deserved it. By his actions and by his China obsession, he deserves the
But what is the point of mentioning it in Madhya Pradesh? Is this your poll plank that Rahul Gandhi is not fit to be a leader, or that, there is infighting in the Congress in Madhya Pradesh? What exactly is your poll plank against the Congress?
If you talk about a poll plank, our issues are very clear. For the first time, there are undercurrents of a pro-incumbency vote. After 4 times, mind you, there is no fatigue, there is no anger. Rather, there is a pro-incumbency factor based upon our social welfare schemes. The Ladli Lakshmi Behna Yojana has directly benefited 1.3 crore women out of the total 2.7 crore women in the state. So I think that is phenomenal. The level of infrastructure creation which has happened in the last 9 years, which was not so visible in 2018, but is very clearly visible even if you travel from Gwalior to, let's say, Khajuraho, of 275 kilometer distance gets covered in exactly 4 hours so those are the issues which we have.
Okay, Ashutosh, you saw the images today of Prime Minister's roadshow. It is actually quite reminiscent of his mega roadshow just before there was polling to happen in Karnataka as well. Do you think this is going to turn the fortunes of the BJP or boost the fortunes of the BJP? First impressions.
See, Padmaja, I think this is the Prime Minister's last push to salvage some prestige for the BJP in the state. It is basically a damage control mechanism. And I think it's a very tried and tested. The kind of word he has used for the Rahul Gandhi, does it behove to the Prime Minister of the country? I'm not making a judgment on that. But this is not the first time he has used such language against opponents. When somebody in the Congress or somebody in opposition, if uses such language, then next time the BJP spokesperson, everybody will jump and say, look, they are out to abuse Narendra Modi. And how many times they will abuse Narendra Modi? 92 times, Prime Minister himself has said. But does it behove a Prime Minister to speak a language like this? I can understand this is a campaign and within the campaign everything is justified. But the fact of the matter is, I think this is a very planned way to provoke Congress party so that the Congress in the last minute say something and the Prime Minister can go to the people and say, look, this is what the Congress party has been abusing me. I think the Congress today has shown a lot of interest. None of the Congress leaders have reacted the way they should have. And normally they did. They did in the past. So basically, it's a political strategy to take names and then wait for the Congress to commit a kind of abuse or some kind of shaming for the Modi, so he can go back and say, look, this is what they are doing to me.
Tushar Gupta, is this a last-ditch attempt to try and provoke the Congress because nothing else is working? So this whole Gali politics cycle can start again?
Good evening, Padmaja. Padmaja, I don't think the Prime Minister referred to Narendra Modi. He said Congress ke gyani.
No,
कांग्रेस के ज्ञानी तो कहीं भी है, कहीं कार्यकर्ता है, कोई पुराने कार्यकर्ता है, कोई स्पोक्सपर्सन. I don't know. नरेंद्र मोदी सेड कांग्रेस के ज्ञानी. अब बहुत ज्ञानी हैं, नोएडा में भी हैं, दिल्ली में भी है, भोपाल में भी हैं. So let's not get into who he was targeting. But on the point of the made in China phones, which Rahul Gandhi said, look, the facts are on the table. In 2014, of the mobile phones that were shipped into the Indian market, only 14%, 14% were made in India. In 2022, that has come up to 98%. And cumulatively, the made in India handsets have crossed 2 billion mark. That's a compounded annual growth rate of 23%. But let's talk about the roadshow, Padmaja. Malwa Nima region, as you started with the show saying, that's one of the most important region because it has 66 seats. Now, if I talk about the Mahakaushal region, the Madhya Bharat region, the Vidya region, the Bundelkhand region, Congress and BJP have their traditional strongholds. The numbers are more or less in sync with what happens on the election day. But Malwa Nima region is interesting for one reason. In 28, when there was actually a very strong anti-incumbency factor, Congress, even when its strongest position, managed 33 seats. Today, if you look at the Ujjain division in this segment, it was 29 seats. BJP looks good at least on 20 seats alone out of those 29. because of the Mahakal factor. You go to ground, you talk to people, they're witnessing a resurgence in the local economy. Because of the corridor, there is new opportunities of employment that have, opened up. I was talking to one of the businessmen who's looking to expand his business because there is a footfall surplus. So all these factors are also weighing on the minds of the people. So that is where these roadshows, these appearances become important. As for Rahul Gandhi, one thing the Congress has not been able to understand. When they briefly formed the government in 2018, there was all this talk about, we'll give away, we'll have waivers for farm loans, we'll take care of the women voters. On the ground, Padmaja, the people are choosing between what they are seeing, what they are being given, tangible results, money in their accounts in the Ladli Behna scheme. Now they're thinking about the Lakhpati Behna scheme, which is a push by Shivraj Singh Chauhan for the self-help groups, and the promises made by the Congress. They've had their tryst with the Congress in 2018. So yes, there is a trust deficit against the Congress as well.
Okay, let's take this one by one. Ashutosh wants to respond to your undercurrent point. Tushar Gupta says that numbers-wise, there is an undercurrent. Ashutosh.
No, Padmaja, first of all, let me correct Toheen as well as my dear friend from Swaraj. 98% mark is set. It's assembled. And now let's give the breakup. Xiaomi, 20.92%.
I mentioned assembled.
Let me
Ashutosh, I mentioned assembled.
Let me complete. Xiaomi 20.92%, Vivo 17.87%, Samsung 14.06%, Realme 13.17%, Oppo 12.12%, on OnePlus 4.63%, Apple 3.89%, others. All these phones are manufactured in India? None.
Assembled.
They all are Chinese. Assembled. That's what I'm saying. The point is, all these companies are foreign, either Chinese or Korean or some other company. India is only assembling them. Can it be called manufactured or made in India? No, that's what I'm saying. So it is a misleading to say that 98% is done in India.
No.
It's a misleading fact.
Okay, Twins, 10 seconds on this China point and 10 seconds to Tushar Gupta. Then I want to come back to MP. Yes.
You can just play again what I said. This is exactly what I said. 98% is assembled, but that is a very important precursor to 100% indigenous production, especially with the semiconductor push. So if you don't cross this hurdle, which we would have never crossed under Congress government, isn't that an achievement? But the self-deprecating, self-flagellating mindset of the Congress is such that they will still find faults with the Indian establishment.
But, Ashutosh Ji and Kamru Choudhury, I want to bring you back on this. I think the larger point being made was that a lot of claims are made on the election campaign trail by the Congress party, which are then subsequently debunked. For example, talking about, made in India mobiles, the whole issue of caste census being, some kind of X-ray, which is going to tell you how many OBCs there are in the country and will give them complete social justice, which your good friends like Kapil Srivastava of the Samajwadi Party and Akhilesh Yadav of the Samajwadi Party are debunking in Madhya Pradesh. Samajwadi Party is doing an X-ray of all of the Congress's claims.
Samajwadi Party is contesting election in Madhya Pradesh. Whom the Congress will react? Whom the Samajwadi Party will attack? The Samajwadi Party will attack BJP and Samajwadi Party will attack Congress.
Absolutely, but if your own friends start calling you, somebody who makes bogus claims and promises, then in the eyes of the voter are not going to be like, हाँ ठीक है, मध्य प्रदेश में कांग्रेस और समाजवादी पार्टी अलग लड़ रहे हैं, तो it's okay for them to call them चोर and झूठा. But in national level, I'm going to believe them. Essentially, if your own friends are saying that you are bogus people making bogus claims, then I will take your word for it.
That's the contradiction of the coalition politics. Look at what the BJP used to call about PDP. And then the PDP and the BJP, they formed the government.
No, but that is wonderful. As a voter, then the people have full right to not vote for the BJP when they are allying with the PDP. I am just saying about the electoral messaging. What is the electoral messaging? Kamru Choudhury, and that was the larger point being made of contradictions, or as the Prime Minister said, headlessness in the INDIA and Congress.
No, it hardly makes a difference in Madhya Pradesh what the regional parties like Samajwadi Party or for that matter the Aam Aadmi Party say about the Congress Party. They are out there to cut on the votes of the Congress Party only. They're just to, to help the BJP in defeating the Congress candidates in Madhya Pradesh.
Who?
In
Samajwadi Party?
It's a different issue, different...
No, hold on a second. You're saying Samajwadi Party is there to help the BJP.
Elections, it's obvious out there, why would they be going after Madhya Pradesh election when they do not have an organizational strength?
By the way, Samajwadi Party is not the only one. You know that the JDU is also contesting. There are a total of 90 seats. The Aam Aadmi Party is also contesting. There is a total of 90 seats out of 230 in Madhya Pradesh, where either Aam Aadmi Party, JDU or Samajwadi Party, sometimes all three of them are contesting against you.
Please, 10 seconds.
Yes.
Now, Padmaja, let me just finish. Let me just explain the binary politics of Madhya Pradesh. As Ashutosh ji has said, there is hardly any vote difference between the Madhya Pradesh in elections between the Congress and the Bharatiya Janata Party in those states. But you see somebody coming in like the Trinamool Congress did in Meghalaya, or Trinamool Congress tried to do in Goa, or Aam Aadmi Party tried to do in Gujarat. Where did they end up? By knowingly or unknowingly, they have helped the Bharatiya Janata Party to snatch some seats away from the Congress Party. Now, if we as an India alliance are so much particular about removing Bharatiya Janata Party from the power, then this should be understood as well, that you need to sacrifice for the common goal. We are sacrificing our seats in Bihar, in Uttar Pradesh, in West Bengal. For whom? For not allowing Bharatiya Janata Party to come back to power.
Sir, you are making the same point that the BJP is making. कपिल श्रीवास्तव देखिए नेशनल टीवी पे आकर के क्या-क्या बोल रहे हैं, कह रहे हैं that BSP, you, आम आदमी पार्टी सिर्फ जान करके कांग्रेस को हराने आए हैं.
24, that is the ultimate goal.
देखिए, बहुत स्पष्ट सी बात है कि उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर जब कांग्रेस हमारे विरुद्ध फाइट करती है, तो हम ये कभी नहीं कहते हैं कि वो भारतीय जनता पार्टी को सपोर्ट कर रही. हर पार्टी को ये हक है, लोकतंत्र में हासिल है कि वो अपने मत प्रतिशत को बढ़ाए, सीटों को जीते. समाजवादी पार्टी भी मध्य प्रदेश में कर रही है. 2013 में हमारे 7 विधायक थे और 12 जगहों पर हम जो है सेकंड थे, लेकिन 2018 में हमारे 1 विधायक थे और हम 5 जगहों पे सेकंड थे. क्योंकि हम लोग एक गठबंधन में आ गए थे, इसलिए दोनों मित्रों में बात हुई थी. इन्होंने नहीं सीटें दी, हमें धोखा दिया, बैठाए रखा, या तो आप बात ही ना करते. और बावजूद उसके जब हम आ गए इलेक्शन में, तो हम तो आपकी भी नीतियों का उसी तरीके से जनता के समक्ष जो है विश्लेषण करेंगे जैसे भारतीय जनता पार्टी का करते रहे. और हम लोग निश्चित तौर पे वही काम कर रहे हैं. अगर उत्तर प्रदेश में क्या कांग्रेस नहीं लड़ेगी या नहीं लड़ी है, तो मैं कह दूं कि वो भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सपोर्टर है. ये नहीं है, ये सब जनता जान रही है, सारी चीजें जान रही है कि हम किसकी नीतियों के पोषक हैं, किसकी विचारधारा को सपोर्ट कर सकते हैं. तो ये जनता को खूब स्पष्ट है. हाँ, एक बात जरूर कहेंगे कि आज प्रधानमंत्री जी ने जिस तरीके से अपनी बातें रखी हैं, वो प्रधानमंत्री पद पे बैठे हुए एक संवैधानिक पद पर सुशोभित नहीं होता है कि किसी को मूर्खों का सरदार कहा जाए. यानी कि एक पार्टी को आप साक्षात मूर्ख कह रहे हैं, जिसने कि इस देश में 55 साल सेवाएं की है मां भारती की, और तमाम प्रोजेक्ट्स जिनको लेकर के वो आगे बढ़े हैं, वो यूपीए सरकार और कांग्रेस की सरकारों की भी देन रही है, थर्ड फ्रंट की सरकारों की देन रही है. और आप अगर असेंबल्ड कर रहे हो और आप कहो कि हम विश्व के सबसे बड़े निर्माता बन गए हैं, दूसरे देश हैं, तो ये आंख में आप किसके धूल झोंक रहे हैं? भाई मैं एक बात कह रहा हूं,
मूर्खों को सरदार बोलना अगर सही नहीं है, तो किसी को चिरकुट बोलना भी बहुत अच्छी बात नहीं है. बट लेट मी अगेन ब्रिंग इन अनदर पॉइंट. यू नो, वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द कॉन्ट्रडिक्शंस. जस्ट अ सेकंड बिफोर
बैठ करके किसी ने कहा कि आज तक
नहीं सर, चिरकुट बोलना भी कोई बहुत अच्छी बात नहीं है. तो वो भी अपने पार्टी के प्रेसिडेंट भले से ही उत्तर प्रदेश में हो, अजय राय को चिरकुट बोलना भी अच्छी बात नहीं है. तो कोई बात नहीं, लेट्स मूव ऑन फ्रॉम देयर. व्हेन वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट कॉन्ट्रडिक्शंस, आशुतोष जी, बिफोर यू रिस्पॉन्ड तुषार गुप्ता, आई वांट टू ब्रिंग बैक आशुतोष. Again, you've got the problems. One, you have got this infighting problem. Then we had 7 seats which were declared by the Congress in Madhya Pradesh and were subsequently changed. So when you're talking about the chaos within the Congress, even though they are saying that we are fighting in a united way, what happened? There was Morena, Datia, Mandsaur, Shujalpur. There were all of the seats which were announced in these areas, and then 7 of them were subsequently changed. Clearly, there is some confusion, which the BJP is now picking up on and saying, listen, an undercurrent for the BJP because of confusion in the Congress. What would you say about this?
I don't think there is a confusion in the Congress on this issue, because out of 7 out of 230 seats, it's just peanuts in terms of numbers. The fact of the matter is that the BJP fumbled in Madhya Pradesh elections from the beginning itself. The first blunder the BJP did was not projecting Shivraj Singh Chauhan. Shivraj Singh Chauhan, all said and done, is a mass leader in Madhya Pradesh. He has a connect with the voters there. And Kamal Nath, who is not a mass leader, Kamal Nath is basically a drawing room politician. But look at the damage it has been done. Now, in all the opinion polls, Kamal Nath is coming neck to neck Shivraj Singh Chauhan. I can bet my life if Shivraj Singh Chauhan has been projected as chief ministerial candidate in BJP, this would have created a huge difference between Shivraj Singh Chauhan and Kamal Nath.
So, sir, would you say that Shivraj Singh Chauhan is a better CM than Kamal Nath, who is a drawing room politician, according to you?
I'm not saying that. I'm only saying this, that Kamal Nath is an experienced administrator. There is no doubt about it. Kamal Nath has been a cabinet minister for a very, very long time. But Kamal Nath as a chief minister has only worked for 1.5 years, less than 1.5 years. It's too little time to judge a chief minister.
Tushar Gupta, again and again, the BJP is reaching out to first-time voters because they realize that these are people who were not even born when Shivraj Singh Chauhan first became the chief minister. So they are the ones who are itching for change. And that is why again and again the BJP is saying, vote for Prime Minister or ask your parents what the Congress government was like. So there is a real fear that the last 18 years anti-incumbency is going to weigh on voters' minds.
Padmaja, I respectfully would disagree. Look, go back to the Gujarat elections. The same story, the BJP has been there for a very, very long time, more than 15 years, and the same message was echoed there by the party leaders, including the Prime Minister, that most of the first-time voters, the youngsters, they haven't seen any other government. In MP, at least, they saw a year and a half of the Kamal Nath government. But in Gujarat also, it was the same story, that you need to ask your parents. You need to have a perspective on the history of the state before the BJP was elected. So I think this is, again, the same messaging that was done in Gujarat. And as we saw in Gujarat, the youngsters were also as passionate for the BJP as they are in Madhya Pradesh. Number two, Padmaja, I want to say something on your show, perhaps, which I will say for the first and the last time. I wholeheartedly agree with what Kamru Choudhury said on two aspects. Number one, he pointed out why the smaller parties or the regional parties are cutting through the Congress vote share in MP, which is a very important point. Look, the difference in the MP vote share between the two major parties is of 1 percentage point, while the regional parties swap up around 12 to 14% of the total vote share. Now, if the regional parties, if Kamru Choudhury is again actually speaking the truth, are actually cutting through the Congress vote, that's actually helping the BJP's cause. And the other thing he said, that we are willing to make the sacrifice as a party for the larger goal. Now, this is something I've echoed about the alliance time and again, that the Congress wants the regional parties to sacrifice their political capital for the Congress. And at one point, the regional parties will fight back. And number three, on what Ashutosh said about Shivraj Singh Chauhan. Padmaja, if you go to the ground, and I'm sure you must have done your research also, वहां पर उनके नाम से ज्यादा उनकी काम की बात हो रही है. अगर आप किसी से लाडली बहना की बात करें, it's about Shivraj Singh Chauhan. The women are talking about Shivraj Singh Chauhan. And such are the electoral dynamics of the state that the men or the traditional strongholds, the traditional seats of both parties, they'll vote in a certain way. But the women voters, they are inclined towards the Ladli Behna scheme and consequently towards Shivraj Singh Chauhan. So to assume that because the Prime Minister has not declared a chief ministerial candidate or the BJP is shying away from naming a chief ministerial candidate, there is no talk about Shivraj Singh Chauhan, that's absolutely incorrect. The Ladli Behna is a tsunami amongst the women voters, and like Bihar, like Uttar Pradesh, like Gujarat, the women voters are going to decide this election, and that is where Shivraj Singh Chauhan becomes important. His mass leader, that quality of him through the Ladli Behna scheme becomes important.
All right, we'll see how much of a tsunami actually manages to sweep the BJP into power or out of it. For the time being though, thank you very much all gentlemen for having joined us with your wisdom.